All right, so I was just on Facebook wasting my life away, not practicing any disc golf, of course, and I stumbled across uh, a really sweet video of a putt. And one of the first comments, there's only a few comments on there, is essentially the classic retroactive rules call made by some random player that I've never even heard of before. And this happens everywhere. Every YouTube video, every single thing you see, someone's like, oh, that was a foot fault. Oh, that was 30 seconds. Oh, that's OB. Or like, oh, he missed that Mando and nobody realized it. Or, wow, that guy's really being a jerk. It's mostly foot faults. So we play a sport that has got to have some of the most critical fans I have ever seen. You can't do anything right. You throw a phenomenal shot and somebody's going to say it was a foot fault or it was bad form or they're going to have something to say. So if we have these players that are so quick to criticize the enforcement of rules in our sport, then we need to come up with something different. The big reason things don't get called and the reason that these people just want to go on and call all the rules out after the tournament's over and the winner already has their money, because we're a self-officiated sport. If someone breaks the rules, it is on the shoulder of the players on the card to make that call. And that is a really, really tough thing to do in this sport. It really makes the dynamic of it so much different. The NBA, the NFL, NHL, they all have referees. Golf has officials. That is not a thing in the PDGA. We are self-officiated. As I said, we have to call our own rules violations, and that sucks. That really sucks. I think what's happening is all these newer players that don't really have much experience are just so quick to say, why aren't we enforcing the rules? Well, it's because I feel like a lot of players go through that phase where they think, wow, we need to enforce the rules. I need to get on my card and I need to make sure everybody's following the rules. And we all know that guy. We all know Mr. Referee, the guy who's going to make sure that every single rule is followed to a T. And nobody wants to play with that guy. Do you want to go out and be nitpicked for every single little thing you do, whether you're 1 inch away from your mark or you took 31 seconds on a shot? No, that's horrible. That's not fun. That's not productive. And as I moved into higher divisions, I didn't see that as often. And it's an experience. People experience, they encounter situations, and they realize that self-officiating is kind of crappy. Like me, a lot of pros kind of agree that when you get to the pro level, you'd rather just beat the person on strokes. Do you want to win a tournament because you called a rule violation, or do you want to win a tournament without that rules violation being called? So my quick story for you guys is going to be, I'm going to have to do some more homework here, back at the 2015 World Championships. But holy cow, 2015 was a big year for me. I played 20 tournaments. So let's go down to, here it is, World Championships, round 1. I played really good, so it's going to be pretty easy to figure out who was on my card. Oh, sorry, I got this all backwards. So 2016 Pro Worlds was in Emporia, Kansas. Took 89th place. I didn't cash because I'm bad. I had a really great round 1. It's on YouTube if you haven't seen it. I shot 52, which was 5 strokes back from the leader. So I ended up on 4th card in a million-way tie. But it went by PDGA number. So it started with Drew Gibson, 48346, then Lewis Bitney, then Colin Bailey, and myself. So, 2 great players with Drew and Lewis, and 2 kind of up-and-coming players. Colin was 979 rated at the time, and I was 967 rated. For us to come out and start Worlds with a 1029 rated round was fantastic. So, me and Colin are kind of feeling the pressure a little bit because that's a great round to have. But anyways, we get around to Paige Pierce's ace hole. I don't know which hole that is, 11 or 8 or 10, I don't care. But we all throw our drives, whatever, and Drew is about 40 feet left of the pin. It's a downhill putt, but still, it's a tough get. And when Drew putts, I saw it, and I was not going to make the call. His foot kind of went up on the side, like as if you were rolling your ankle, but he didn't roll his ankle. But his foot was behind his mini marker, right? So Lewis called the foot fault on him. And this was before the stroke was immediately on the line, and so it didn't require a second. So even though I had seen it and, in my own opinion, thought that it was not a foot fault, there's nothing I could do. He made the call, and that is an automatic reputt. And in Drew's favor, he made the putt again, which was really impressive after that. But these two players went on to argue about the rule. It was brought up multiple times throughout the round, and there was just so much tension on the card, and it caused most of us to not play very good. The atmosphere on the card was terrible, and I shot like a 940 rated round. Colin was a 960 rated round or something like that. I didn't look I guess I can look now. Lewis only shot a 1004 rated round, and Drew Gibson was the only one that came out of there with a pretty good round at 1031. But when you've got players like Ricky Wysocki throwing 1066, 1083 rated rounds, that's not really what you want. So my opinion is that we need to change something, at least for the National Tour events. If it's higher than an A tier, we need to find a way to get rid of self-officiating, and that story right there is the exact reason that players don't make calls. Like, do you really want to do that to yourself? Like, do you want to make everything suck in the round? Like, there's not very many disc golfers that thrive off of that negative energy. So if you make a call, you're making yourself a target, because if you call someone on a rule, they might be so mad that they're going to try to find a way to call you on a rule, when otherwise they might not even be trying to call you on a rule. I already talked about ruining the atmosphere of the card. So in my opinion, obviously I believe we need to be better about officiating our sport. I think if we had better sportsmanship as professionals, it would be easier to make calls. But that situation in Emporia was exactly what I'm talking about. Players fight about it. They bring it up later in the tournament. And it just is it's not a good way to call rules. There's got to be a better way. And I don't have the answers, but this is what I believe, and this is the idea I wanted to get out to you guys. So what do you think? What are your thoughts? How are we going to fix this? How can we improve ourselves and improve the sport as a whole so we can fix this problem? I don't know. I'm asking you guys. Let's figure it out together. Let's grow the sport. Thanks for listening. That's all she wrote, and I'm still horrible at all these finishing lines, whatever. But I don't know, just whatever. Let's just go play disc golf.